Joining us right now, one of our Ben & Woods regulars. Welcome back to the show on the Corky's Hotline, the defensive coordinator for the San Diego State Aztecs, Zach Arnett. Coach, it is a big week to be sure. You can't downplay a conference opener against Boise State. Even Rocky can't do that.
No. I mean, we're in the conference time, so everyone matters a little bit more.
I was a little shocked. I know I'm sure you probably don't pay attention to point spreads, but when it came out this week,
he's not allowed. Remember, we asked him last week.
Yeah, he's not allowed. The guys, the sharps say that Boise State's a gigantic favorite, 15.5 points, Coach, and I thought that's kind of silly because you guys have been every bit as good and competitive with Boise State the past few seasons in the Mountain West. You've split the last 4 conference titles. This is the rivalry, I think, the new rivalry in the Mountain West that I look forward to. What are your thoughts going into this week's matchup?
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I obviously don't know anything about how the spread is determined, for the betting line. But, I mean, they're a really good football team, and on both sides of the ball. I mean, they're scoring a whole lot of points and going for a whole lot of yards, and their defense is playing really well, too. So, I mean, they're playing really well. So, obviously, there's a reason they're highly thought of and a ranked opponent. It'll be a good matchup.
Talking to Sdsu defensive coordinator Zach Arnett here on Ben & Woods, as we usually do. And, Coach, how right now is the health of your team and your defense specifically?
I think we're getting Noble Hall back. Missed a few weeks, about 2-3 weeks with the bye week in there. So we expect to have him back on the defensive line, and that's really the only injury we really dealt with on the defensive side of the ball. I know the offense got a few guys. Juwan's out, but the philosophy here and everywhere else in the country. I mean, there's not a team in the country who's not dealing with an injury at a position or two. It's next man up. It's a new opportunity for someone else to step in and show what they can do. So, no matter if they don't change the game time or move it back for you, players got to go out there and play.
Well, I think that's what the Sharps are looking at. Christian Chapman starting quarterback out. Juwan Washington starting running back out. Isaac Lassard starting fullback out. They look at skill positions and they say, the Aztecs are missing those guys. They've got no chance. But you really do have good backups at positions, and guys have already stepped in and shown that they can perform. And I have a lot of faith. I mean, that gives me some confidence in San Diego State going into this game that you guys have dealt with these injuries already. And well, yeah, you'd love to have all your guys healthy. This is nothing new for you guys to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, you feel bad that Chapman, Juwan, Isaac, those guys they're missing an opportunity to play in a big game. That's what you feel bad for. But we think highly. We love the guys we got behind them who are getting in there and playing. I mean, obviously everyone's seen how hard Chase Jasmine runs, and what a great job Agnew's done. Chad Woosley in there at fullback. I mean, we're not concerned about the guys going in there and playing. We know they're going to line up and know what to do and know how to get it done. Kind of almost just feel bad for the guys who are missing opportunities because you work so hard all off season and all year long. You only got 12 guaranteed opportunities and then to miss a couple due to injury. It's disappointing for those guys.
Coach, probably, I don't know if you'd agree, best quarterback you've faced at least since the opening week in Stanford, and Brett Rippon of Boise State. What are you guys going to do differently? Because obviously you gave up a lot of passing yards in that first one, gave up a lot of passing yards to Arizona State. What changes are you making to try to limit that offense, as you said, that puts up a lot of yards and a lot of points?
Yeah, I mean, he does a great job of identifying coverage, whether it be, zone, the different types of zone, or man coverage, and typically getting the ball out on time, depending on how many rushers you're sending. So you got to mix it up. You got to keep it varied. You have to kind of be able to show one look and go to something else just so he doesn't have a clear pre-snap read. And like you said, I mean, you gotta get pressure when you bring pressure, you got to get there so your guys aren't on an island forever. And when you don't send many guys and you want to play true coverage, then the coverage has got to hold up. But I think you got to be varied. The offenses are getting better and better, or the throwing games are getting better and better because that's the way the game is it's becoming a more important part of it, or guys are growing up throwing it their whole lives in the spread. So, it's forcing coverage to have to constantly be changing and adapt and do something to try to confuse the quarterback a little bit.
What would you say is the best thing you accomplished during the bye week? Whether it's something you wanted to work on that you finally had time to do so, how did the bye week help the Aztecs?
Well, I think it's about 2 or 3 different things. One is the guys who have played a whole bunch and are a little banged up. They get a few extra days off to get back healthy, and it also gives you an opportunity to get some reps with some guys who haven't got on the field a whole bunch, or maybe not at all, and maybe identify, hey, is there a guy or two who hasn't got on the field yet, but he can help us, and even if it's in a limited role, it comes in certain situations. So if you can identify one of those guys, which I think we may have, or then maybe you get a guy on the field in a situation where he can make you a little bit better, and obviously gives all his coaches a chance to get on the road and recruit for a couple of days. Go watch a high school game or 2 on Friday night, and maybe a junior college game on Saturday. So start identifying the guys you really want to have in the next signing class.
Talking to Zach Arnett, defensive coordinator for the San Diego State Aztecs here on Ben and Woods. I told you Rocky doesn't care too much about the blue field, but I will say this. You guys haven't gone to Boise State since 2014, which means, I guess unless there was a redshirt senior who was on the trip, you don't have any players who have been there, and it's certainly a unique atmosphere in college football. Is there anything you need to do to get your team ready for that, to go up there, whether it's the color of the field or just the the fans that they've got there, the program that they've got there?
No, I don't think there's anything to be done about the field itself. Exact same dimensions across and length, and it's a different color, but it's the issues they present are the guys that they're lining up and running around the field with. That's what we got to get prepared for. So obviously, guys got to do a great job of film study, learning their opponent, learning their schemes and what they like to do and how they like to attack it, and get ready to go. And I think I heard you guys in your opener talking it, but make sure that whatever every guy's little routine is to get themselves ready for a game, they get it moved up about 7 hours earlier than usual, because we're not waiting around all day in the hotel, and coming out at 7:30. We got to be ready to go at 1:30 Mountain, but 12:30 our time.
You as a coach, do you like that a little better? Getting that thing, just getting it going, because I got to imagine the pacing that goes on for a 7:30 start is probably pretty rough.
Yeah, I think all the coaches are excited about a little earlier game time. We're so used to the night games too. It's even weird for us. Our own routine's going to be sped up. Because we play so late at night. You watch a whole lot of football during the day.
100%.
And that's obviously not going to be the case now. So even just like the players, the coaches themselves, we all have to make sure we adjust our usual routine so we're ready to go.
Well, do you like it though? Would you rather play more games at 12:30 than 7:30 at night?
Yes, I would. If the whole schedule was that way, that's when I turn on the TV in the morning, it seems like the Big Ten. Every game is probably a noon kickoff their time, and it's kind of like a tradition. Yeah, that would be great, but I think everyone recognizes that TV obviously generates a whole lot of dollars, and the scheduling of that, just due to time zones and everything. You play early on the East and you play late on the West, and kind of comes with the territory. But 12:30 games would be awesome if you had a schedule all of that.
I think it's a great opportunity in the middle of the day. Now Woodsy, let me ask you, and maybe Coach, I don't know what your experience is, but when you were in college or one of your various colleges,
several colleges.
When did you usually go to bed? What time?
Yeah, about 4 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's not really a problem for a 7:30 start, Coach. You go to bed 4, they get up at noon, they still have 7 hours to get ready.
You got to remember, you're 21, you can drink all night, you can carouse all night, you can wake up at 9 feeling like no problem, 1 beer and you're good, and then you go and you do it all over again. You can't do it at 40.
Just, Coach, have everyone set like 3 iPhone alarms, to get up, because you can't have them oversleeping on Saturday.
Yeah, now you guys don't really keep them in a hotel the night before, because you're saying drinking and carousing until 4 a.m. and be up ready to go. We're not. I don't think that's going to work for a 7 o'clock game or a 12:30.
I was not an athlete in college unless you count intramurals. So there you go.
No, definitely. Look, earlier bed check. Set about 10 alarms and wake up and be ready to go.
Well, Coach, good luck on Saturday. It would be a great way to start the conference season, really put the Aztecs in a great position. Tough challenge, though, at Boise State. We'll hopefully break it down with you next week.
Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. It's be a good one.
Coach Zach Arnett, defensive coordinator at San Diego State.